Hey y'all, this is Dr. Herman coming from the Mars. You need to destroy the Ark. Something tried to come in through my neck. And you need to destroy the Ark or it's eternal doom for everyone.
It's SOP to call in reinforcements when a situation. We are the reinforcements.
Oh God, they got Herman. Not wicked! What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the rDNA podcast. Wow. Get hype. All right, Rob, get hype. He said,
since our guest is on the couch with us, should I do the...
yes, you should. We are live in the studio. What's up, Batman in chat? What's up, Thunder? Hoku in the house. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It is the rDNA podcast. The R stands for real, R-E-E-L, because we keep it real. I'm going to keep doing that until it catches on. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm not sure if it will, but sure, keep doing it.
It's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. What's up, listeners? What's up, people in chat live with us? Thank you for joining us. Tonight's movie was actually a prize in our last month's bit donators, and Rob was actually one of the top bit donators, so he, the co-host of the show, picked the episode, kind of going against, like, giving it back to the community, but Rob was like, screw you, I'm picking. So he was adamant. So thank you, Rob, and sorry, listeners. But hey, Batman in chat says great choice, to be honest. So there you go. You got a compliment, and he's here to listen to it and to compliment you. So you did good.
Thanks, Bat.
You did good. But yes, Doom, the film, based on the popular IP known as Doom. Yes, dramatic pause there.
Which Doom?
That is a great question. Because in all honesty, I don't think this follows any specific plot of any of the games that I am familiar with. So,
not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, so that immediately, and I'm gonna be honest too. I am not a Doom aficionado by any means. I've played the games, most of them. I don't think I've played every one. I've played most of them. And they're not bad games. They're obviously very important games, especially the first one in the 90s, changing the landscape of PC gaming and basically creating ID Software's success today. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is right with our breakdown here together. Because honestly, I don't know. So full transparency there. Are either of you guys very fluent with the Doom universe?
No.
I mean, I'm used to just playing the game. I know there's some scientists. I know there's some monsters. And then you go around with some guns and shoot people. So it seemed right along the lines of what I played, but not a storyline basis thing.
Well, you just described the whole film, so...
Oh, wait, that wasn't the synopsis part? Sorry.
That was the whole review, too.
Excited.
That's it, our shortest episode yet, guys. We did it.
Done.
So our hunt continues here to find the worst video game film ever made.
I'm just going to come out and say this one's not it.
Oh,
but...
wow. He's spoiler alert.
Whoa.
Rob doesn't think this one is the worst.
So this is like eating dessert before dinner. You guys are getting everything right now.
Yeah, he's just coming right out the bat. Batman says you're right, too. Batman's on your side tonight, Rob. Look at that. The support and love from another wolf pack. So,
well, there might be a reason why I picked it. I don't know. Maybe. Like, usually that would mean I kind of like it, I guess. I don't know.
I'm sure there's one scene that you picked it for.
Yes, that is a fair statement as well.
There's a scene that I picked it for as well, too. Well, I didn't pick it, but there's a scene that I'll compliment on this one. So, but let's begin. We had a little bit of small talk here. Lotus, what's going on? Loki thought that we had Dwayne. He's here. He's just very stoic. He's the rock. He's not moving because he is a rock. Thank you for the host, though, Lotus. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. But yes, so Doom. Man, I watched this again last night, by the way, just to get refreshed. And like, I don't even know where to begin. But let's begin with Doom. Is a 2005 science fiction film directed by.
It's that old now?
It is that old now. It is 16 years old now. It is, yes. I don't recognize the director's name. I don't know if I can say his name. Don't you shy away. Don't you shy away. Thank you for the host, Thunder. Don't you shy away from listening to this review because it's going to be a good one, I promise. Andrzej, I can't say his name. MX, thanks for the host. Do you guys know the director's name? Do you know how to pronounce it?
No, I didn't jump in that deep.
Okay.
I didn't look at the name. I'm going to be honest. I don't know.
I was like, Travis has been doing this. We'll go ahead. Gravity's got that part.
So, I mean, I don't know how to pronounce his name. But if you're familiar with his work, here are some of the notable things that he directed. Romeo Must Die, Exit Wounds, Cradle to the Grave, obviously Doom here in 2005, Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, so the sequel to the one that we reviewed already, Maximum Impact, and Dead Reckoning. I know a few of those, not fluent with really many of those. The thing that I got out of it, this guy knows how to choreograph a fight sequence. We'll dive into that as we get later in the actual breakdown of the plot and the content of this. That is one thing I got to compliment his experience on with his work and his resume. If you are familiar with any of his work, obviously Street Fighter: Legend of Chun-Li, there's going to be fighting in that one, hopefully. Listen to our Street Fighter review to hear us talk about whether or not there's fighting in that movie. And Batman had pointed out that they could only afford The Rock, but not Karl Urban. So I don't know what that means. Was there a problem with paying them? Are you guys familiar with any of that?
Mm-mm.
No, I'm not either. So enlighten us too, chat. That's why we do these live, because we love to hear other people's opinions in chat and bring it up and have a conversation together on it.
The balls to say things that nobody else.
Oh, he says on the couch. Yes, we could only afford The Rock. We could not afford Karl Urban to sit on our couch here with us tonight. That's why The Rock is smiling, because he knows we get the better actor.
And the prosthetics too. We had to chip out for the prosthetics. So
it's true. As you can see, Herman's a bloody mess. He's been through hell.
I thought there was scheduling conflicts. Carl just couldn't be here. That's what it was.
Yes, that's it. Pandemic. So
he didn't want to be within 6 feet of The Rock, I guess.
It's true. This couch
it
is
was
very
actually
close
coming
quarters.
out of iRob's pocket, so he did not come.
It is. This episode is funded basically by iRob. So again, thank you for supporting this episode. Catch you later, MX. Take care, man. Hope all is well. Jack, what's going on? So yeah, it stars The Rock, Karl Urban, Rosamund Pike, Razaaq Adoti. I'm terrible pronunciations, and this is not a good role for me right now. And of course, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He was credited as The Rock at this time. Still, he had not fully embraced Dwayne yet.
So
he didn't embrace
before
his
he
Johnson
was
yet.
The movie star. This was when he was still just the ex-wrestler.
Basically, because he was just coming off a couple of years of Scorpion King, and then other things that were success from that, if you want to call it success. For those that
can't
don't
fault him where he's at now. So
no, by no means,
Not at all.
by no means. For those that are unfamiliar, in the film, a group of Marines are sent on a rescue mission to a facility on Mars where they encounter genetically engineered creatures. Released October 17th, 2005 in Los Angeles, 21st in the United States, and then within the next month and a half worldwide. Running time of 1 hour and 4 minutes, which I felt was honestly too long for this movie. Definitely dragged. It had a budget between $60 and $70 million, and it made 58 in box office. So it didn't make its money back. Yikes.
Yeah, it was definitely long, and I actually looked at the time, and I looked down, and I'm like, oh, it's an hour in. We still got 40 minutes left.
Yeah, that's kind of the point that I felt too. Like, I don't want to say I was bored with the film because the pacing felt fine, but there was just
my take on it, just there was a lot that just necessarily for what it is, it wasn't needed.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of just stuff, and not a lot of substance.
Added storylines that didn't need to be there because it was only going to be one. It was Doom, you know.
Yeah, people were watching this movie because they wanted to see things get shot. That's
basically, I mean, and they if you were looking for that, they achieved what you were looking for. Like, if you were going in with low expectations, you know, it was a science fiction, basically science fiction horror almost, with like demons or almost zombie-like creatures. You were getting what you wanted out of it. Like, it had a decent budget. The creature effects didn't look awful. They weren't like amazing. But, and I think the thing that helped, they used practical effects.
yeah. I was gonna say it doesn't look bad now, even though it's 16 years old, because it is what it is. There was somebody in a suit, not trying to do.
I equated it to a low-budget Resident Evil, like the monsters was.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring that up too, because a lot of elements of this film reminded me of the Resident Evil film, the first one, anyways, with the Marines going into a facility and monsters being in it. Like, it was very tight corridor. One by one, things were happening. I mean, this is the exact like plot points, the beats that the first Resident Evil film had.
Yeah, and that's part of the. I don't like. They could have called this anything, and it would have been the same. Like, calling it Doom was just trying to capitalize on the name. It didn't have really much to do with it.
Yeah. Batman asks, how many times did Sarge, who's played by The Rock for those that don't know, that's his handle, which I thought that was a fun little nod. Sarge told Portman to shut the F up. How many times?
A lot.
Yeah.
Although if you want to cast a guy to be a Weasley character, that actor, I wish I could remember his name. He is perfect for that role.
Yeah.
I wish.
It was. I think that would never fly. Like, his character would never fly these days, I don't think. Because I even have up on the top of my page, like, his first phrase was so graphic and derogatory and just ridiculous. You could never get away with it these days. It was.
I've watched it enough. I could spout the line for you if you want.
I don't want to say it. That's why I didn't write it down on the paper.
I mean, is it offensive to get us kicked? I don't remember.
I think so.
Basically, I'll just shorten it. He wants to go spend the weekend locked in a hotel room with some she-boys, is exactly how he says it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's... Yeah. No, we're not gonna... Moving on.
I already said it, so there you go.
I know, it's...
But,
we're gonna move on from that. Yeah, there's... That's the thing, too. There's stuff that always amazes me that... And this shows you how much the world is evolving and we're learning as far as culture and, appropriate things to say and what we shouldn't say. Even in character.
It did set you up where immediately you didn't like him from that point of.
Well, of course,
definitely did that.
So
yeah,
so I guess it had its effect that because you weren't supposed to like him. So
yeah, if you want to hate somebody right away, have them go right there with that. But that's the thing. Like, even thinking about, like, we're older. We're in our mid to late 30s, right? So when this came out, we were in our 20s. even like thinking of that short period of time and going back before then in the 90s when we were teenagers, you know, the stuff that we talked about in person, we couldn't say the things we said to each other back then, even in casual speak. And we meant no true offense by what we were saying, but we didn't realize, you know, how offensive some of the things we were saying. And it's interesting to go back and watch film specifically because it's a time capsule of things, you know, potentially. Maybe it's unintentional, but it's a time capsule of things that happen in society of the world at that period of time. And it's just general speech, especially
music's the same. If you listen to songs that you like, and there's like, you're like, man, couldn't say that now.
Right.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Like, if they're doing it live, they're changing that one because they're not saying that live anymore.
Yeah. It's interesting. But yes, if you want to get hate, though, that's a great way to get hate as a character. And they did a good job. He was not liked. He's just a gross character, too, in general. Like, he annoyed me.
Yeah, slimy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said it. For sure.
A little bit of backstory on this.
Spoiler alert, he's not when you're sad when he goes.
Oh, there's another spoiler. If you haven't seen it yet, full disclosure, we're spoiling this movie during our review. But you've had 16 years, so I don't feel bad for this one. So, plus it's Doom. Do you really care if you're spoiled? You're still here listening to us. How do I know? Because you heard me say that. So you're welcome. After the film right deals with Universal Pictures and Columbia Pictures expired, ID Software signed a deal with Warner Brothers with the stipulation that the film would be greenlit within a year. So it was rushed, which some of the things look like it, because if you want to talk about generic, the set design for a lot of this was super generic. I felt like I was watching something from the Sci-Fi Channel.
Like screensavers?
Yeah, like super generic stuff. So Warner Brothers lost the rights, which subsequently had given them back to Universal, who started production in 2004. The film was an international co-production of the United States, United Kingdom, and Czech Republic, as well as Germany. So there's a lot of hands on this one.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, like, I know they dub over voices a lot in movies, but you could tell, like, in a few spots where they were just dubbing over voices, and, like, it was kind of off just a little bit with The Rock and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely noticeable depending on the environments they're in, and that's where you have to have really good ADR, because you can tell when something's done in a studio.
Yeah.
Are we ready to dive into the plot?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So Batman Says they watched it on Netflix. I actually have a physical copy of this movie. I usually have it sitting with me, but I didn't bring it to the desk today.
We have it on our Voodoo.
Do you? Okay. I have a physical copy as well. I have the physical copy for the follow-up movie, too, Doom Annihilation, which may be a future review sometime. Who knows? Who knows if Rob will pick that next if he wins the prize again. He's in first place right now, by the way. So he very well could. We'll see. We'll dive through the plot, and let's have talking points as we go through. Interrupt me, please. In 2026, so just 5 short years from now, back then it was much longer, but apparently this is Mars in 5 years. Maybe Bezos is going to fly there next, and this is what happens. Who knows? Ty, thanks for the host. In 2026, a wormhole portal, the Ark, to an ancient city on Mars is discovered deep below the Nevada desert. 20 years later, the 85 personnel at the Union Aerospace Corporation research facility on Mars are attacked by an unknown assailant. Following a distress call sent by Dr. Carmack, a squad of 8 Marines are sent to the research facility, which we open the film with.
Interject real fast here. Just something. Ever since the first time I watched it, they tell you that they found a portal to a city on Mars. How did they know that the portal went to Mars? Because the first person that went through wasn't coming back.
I don't know. That doesn't make sense. Maybe they had GPS. But when
that's completely, they had some pretty futuristic tech for 2005.
Completely off the thing from that, but ever since the first time I watched it, when they just go to that, it's always been in like a worm in my brain. How did they find out that that's where that went and get things built there?
It's a great question. I had a question too. It's unfortunate that Cody, if you're listening and you're not chatting in, or if you're listening back, answer this question because none of us served here. You didn't serve, Rob. You didn't serve Herman.
Nope.
So Cody,
They wouldn't take me.
they wouldn't take you.
Me
They
neither.
wanted to take me. I didn't want to go. So I had a question, and this is always a question anytime I watch some sort of military type film, especially that focuses on behavior in a barracks. All I can think of is just a bunch of dudes living together, and it just there were tension obviously between a lot of them, but is it really like that? Like the one, what was he hitting? Like apples or tomatoes? What was the oranges? What was he hitting?
Oh yeah, it seemed like apples, like he was hitting them into that, and he hit the same spot every time. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was just
And one thing for sure, an orange, because the dude ripped the peel off to eat the orange. So
that's why I thought an orange or something. Because yeah, he peeled the skin off of it, and you don't peel an apple like that. That was a little weird. But yeah, I don't know. That was just it was a weird scene, and like I don't know, and the interchange, I don't even know the interactions with the Rock's character in them, and like the insubordination, basically them not listening to their commander. Like it was just a weird exchange.
maybe in the future it gets laxed. I don't know.
Well, I mean, spoiler alert, he didn't listen to him later in the film, and the kid.
That was funny. That's his character name. The whole movie. He doesn't have a name.
No name.
No, they didn't give him a name. That was his handle. He was the kid. And he was even
The
pissed
kid.
when he got his weapon.
The kid.
Which, honestly, to highlight that, though, like, if you're a fan of video games, like, little nods to that kind of stuff was cool. Like, when they get their gear and stuff. Like, I thought that was cool. So the team includes squad leader Sergeant Asher Sarge Mahonen. There's Cody. Thank you
They
for the
never
host.
said his name ever in the movie. He's always just
No.
Sarge.
Yeah, they only
Sarge.
recognized him as Sarge, and then the first time they acknowledged that was when he got his equipment, or one of the first times. Cody, since you're here, if you're listening, we had a question. Did you rewatch or watch this film? If so, the question was, what is barracks like life like with other soldiers or Marines? What is the camaraderie or chemistry between people? Is it good? Is it bad? Is there
We were just
tension?
wondering if it was like how it was portrayed in the movie here.
You've got
A
mail.
little bit.
Dingus, thank you for the host. We got mail. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, if you want to answer that, just out of curiosity. So yeah, Sergeant. We also had Duke. We had Goat. We had Destroyer, Mac, and then Kid. Thank you for the host rated. All the good ones are gone. We had also had Reaper. So John Grimm. Like, how cool of a name is that?
John Grimm, and your name's the Reaper.
That's
Good
a cool
choice.
name. Like,
Yeah.
Mr. Grimm, that was a character in Twisted Metal, for those that don't know.
You can definitely make that connection where how Marines would give you the nickname Reaper if your last
Yeah.
name was Grimm.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, if they didn't, they messed up. So, Cody says, I've seen Doom. Barracks life is great for the most part, always together, and any beef gets settled quick. So this film is not fully accurate then on how barrack life is. Imagine
No, because
that.
you can tell they basically tolerate one of their squad mates, and that's about it.
Yeah. They are sent on a search and destroy mission to Mars with the UAC only concerned with the retrieval of computer data from their anthropology, archaeology, and genetics experiments. The team uses the Ark to reach Mars, ordering the Earth site on lockdown. Arriving on Mars, they are met by UAC employees Pinky. That was the lady, right?
No.
No,
No, that
who's
was
Pinky?
the guy with the wheelchair.
Yeah,
Oh,
Pinky's the guy
yeah.
where He went there and his ass went to another universe. Was the joke?
Yep.
Right. Oh, man. Radis says, I forgot to watch the movie. He's going to watch it at the stream. Yeah, definitely watch it. See if we're right in our opinions or we're wrong. We want to know your feedback.
I'm always right, just so we're clear.
You just like everything, though. Like, that's... I'm having, like, second thoughts on having you host these. Because, like, you're just going to be complimentary of everything.
Not everything, just most things.
That's okay. That's the new mission. We're not just finding the worst video game film. We're finding a film that iRob doesn't like.
Yes.
Which is going to come first, though? Are we going to find the worst video game film, or are we going to find one that Rob doesn't like? Or are they going to be the same, one and the same?
They might be one and the same.
Okay. Rated says, what's up, Wicked and Rob?
What up?
Batman
Just
says, I
look
think
at
he
him.
likes Rosamund Pike.
I don't dislike Rosamund Pike.
Fair. While searching for survivors in the facility, the Marines find a traumatized and injured Dr. Carmack and escort him to the medical lab for treatment, but he later disappears. The Marines shoot at an unknown creature in the genetics lab that leads them down into the facility's sewer. It's always the sewers. Always the sewers. This made me think
So
of
did
Aliens.
Here's one thing-
catch the doctor slurping the rat? Okay, I just had to put it on paper because he kind of like slurped up the
Slurped
rat right before.
I do remember that part, but it's the other one that doesn't make any sense. They built a high-tech facility on Mars, but it looks like the sewers everywhere on Earth.
Yeah, you don't think you would not want to destroy a planet with pollution and sewers like you did Earth?
And how is it just like a wet thing with standing water?
I don't know.
Like, if it was a high-tech facility, wouldn't it be a little different, you'd think, maybe? I don't know.
You would think, like, scientists would want to properly, build a facility, not destroy, especially when they're probably terraforming a new land. But who knows? I guess we're not the scientists, are we? It reminded me a lot of Aliens, though. Like, a lot of this stuff, too.
Mhm.
Especially
And then
with
that's, like, super high-tech, but underneath was, like, a brick sewer.
Yeah. They were in Brooklyn. With the Mario Brothers. It all goes back to the Mario Brothers.
It's all back.
That's what this whole series of podcasts is. It's going to all come full circle. This is all the extended cut that we didn't see yet.
And then the cliche, someone's light goes out.
Oh, of course.
Instant. As soon as the monster comes at him, light gone.
And then had to do the walk up, like you can see eyes, but he has to go, hello?
Well, yeah, I mean, isn't that your reaction? The cliches. So yeah, they go
I
down
don't know.
to the
I've never
sewers.
been in a tunnel with an alien, so one of these days maybe that will happen.
Well, now
And
you're
we'll
trained
find
and
my
you're ready.
reaction.
You know how to handle
Yeah.
the situation. So they kill Goat in the sewer. They then kill the creature and take it to the medical lab where Sam performs an autopsy and discovers that its organs are human. Dun dun dun.
So when they had the guy and he had the thing coming out of his neck, the guy that supposedly died in the
Goat.
Goat, and they showed that, I got Dreamcatcher vibes. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but it just reminds me of what's his face sitting on the toilet, and then that little monster coming up, and that was a good movie with Morgan Freeman.
Thomas Jane.
narrating it. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. But those little monsters going into the neck just reminded me of that movie because it was pretty much the same thing. It's just like a cylindrical monster with teeth coming out of the end. So
I mean, that's been our description so far on this film is we're comparing it to things that already exist. It's like what IROP had said, too. This is El Generico. As far as this film goes, it's taking tropes from every film in science fiction or action or horror existence and just slapping Doom on it and then trying to capitalize on a name. So fun fact on that, the sequel, as I mentioned, Annihilation, was a straight-to-DVD film that came out in 2019-ish.
Shocking.
Well, here's the reason. So it was pitched for years in the 2010s to 2015s, and nobody would pick it up because of probably this movie. And then they had the Doom game for Xbox One, PS4 come out, and was a success. It was a financial and critical success. So somebody picked the movie up real quick, and it went to DVD in 2019. So I think that's the only reason why, which is because that success at the time. But and I'll be honest, I haven't seen that movie yet. So
I haven't either.
I don't know.
Nope.
We could have done a double feature on that because I do have it. But let's be honest.
And back,
Find it.
and back to the goat thing too. He didn't just die in the sewer. They like drug him to the operating facility, and like he sat there and bled out for like 3 minutes of the movie on the table after them dragging him onto the table.
Yes.
Which was pretty crazy. He just lived forever with that hole in his neck and stuff just gushing out. I was like, what's going on here? He's still alive. He's still alive.
Well, I mean, that's why I think this, like you had said too, got a burp, sorry, that this movie aged well was because of practical effects. So, like, stuff like that is cool. So she and Duke witness. Oh, don't you shy away. Thank you, Cody.
Hi.
Don't you go shying away from listening to our review now. Any of you. She and Duke witness Goat resurrecting and killing himself by smashing his head against a reinforced window. You know, in all honesty, until they explained that to me, I'm like, is he going to break through the glass? Even her reaction was like so... I don't know. She didn't have a great reaction because he was just standing there like, what is he doing? And she's like, oh. And he's just hitting his head on the window. Like, is he breaking through? They're doing nothing? Oh, he's just killing himself by hitting his head because he knew he turned. Like, what? That's the reveal? That's how we figure everything out?
They needed to put that string together real quick before they put out the movie. They were like, oh, we got to let him know why he killed himself.
And my thing is, like, out of all the other, like, you have to unload clips into the other ones, but him just bashing his head into a window 3 times, he killed himself.
Yeah, Batman says he banged his head for like 5 minutes. Yeah, it went on for far too long. It was weird sequence in the dialogue having to describe, like, if you have to explain it like that, it's probably not a good plot device. You got to come up with a better way. But it was weird. The two are attacked by a creature. They trap it, and then they figure out that it's a mutated Dr. Carmack. The squad methodically tracks down and destroys several of the creatures, though Mac, Destroyer, and Portman all die in the process. So again, more generic, one by one. It's like a generic, like, bad guy or monster movie. Like, one by one, the squad is getting, killed. It's like Predator.
Well,
I mean, all these are the same.
Yeah.
Which is
halfway
funny.
through, you have Portman trying to be the level-headed one, because he's like, hey, we got to call for reinforcements. We got to get more people down here and all this. And then Rock is just like, no, we are the reinforcements.
Yeah, I didn't understand his character motivation, and like the turn of his character. Spoiler as we get on to the plot, but like, is he just a jerk? Like,
Yes.
we got Doritos on the screen. Yum. What is that? Kick the door down. That's right. It was just, I don't know. It was a weird.
And then my thing was, like, they went through this whole big thing, and I know Mac wasn't a big character in the movie, but his whole thing is the creature punched his head off.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had that. Obligatory head punch off was the next thing on my list.
Honestly, that was pretty cool. Like, some of the action sequences they were really well done. The weapons looked really authentic too. It made me want some of the weapons that they have in Halo.
The BFG?
Oh, we'll get to the BFG.
But why are we developing weapons on Mars. I don't That's another thing I go back to. Why are we developing these weapons
Because
It's already a
that
dead
could
planet, so you can just do what you want on it.
and blow away the walls and yeah.
yeah, no, that didn't make sense. But they had to have the gun in there somehow, some way, for whatever reason. Like how else?
So we can put that in here. That is one thing from the game that made it directly into the movie.
The BFG.
The BFG.
And what you're all thinking, it's not what it is.
It's the Bioforce gun.
Yeah. Where you guys at?
That's not what it stands for.
In the movie, it is.
I know.
Yeah, it is.
I know.
And I kind of want to get into this a little bit because at the beginning it showed the BFG on the wall, and the actual numbers for it were 3.14.
Pi.
So infinite. And then that goes into the other part of the movie where it's like, I only have one. I only have one shot.
But they don't. Batman says it's not what Sarge calls it. No, it's not. That's what I'm saying.
No,
like
yeah.
it's the BFG. Cody says NOW, the Nerds of Wrestling podcast. Tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be talking about Money in the Bank. What a pay-per-view that was.
Oh, man.
They're going to talk about also everything else in the world of wrestling, hot news, breaking news from Monday Night Raw this week, I'm sure, and so much more. Join Cody and Trevor right here on the DNA Twitch tomorrow night. You don't want to miss it. Back to
definitely the
regular
better looking
program.
podcast, I think.
The better looking? Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
That's why they go after us.
Well, normally they go before.
And everyone forgets us.
Normally they kick off the week normally every week for us because you got to start with a bang.
The following announcement
There it is.
has been paid for by the
NOW.
The bang.
Lana's first. What's up, Trevor? Speaking, I say his name and he appears.
Hi.
I didn't say it 3 times though. Weird. What is going on, everyone? Welcome. As we continue with the plot of this, where was I? So they learned that the USC was experimenting on humans using the extra Martian chromosome C24. Because they had to really let you know that there are 23, and then they have an extra chromosome that turns them into whatever they are.
Superhuman.
I mean, is that superhuman though? Like,
They go into it in the movie. There's markers. It can either turn you into the crazy psycho beast person, or just enhance everything that makes us good as humans.
Well, no one got enhanced besides Sarge, kinda.
Not Sarge. No, Karl Urban's character did.
Oh yeah. But that's it.
And he was the one that wasn't psychotic, so he's the only one that didn't change.
Oh, right. Because they talked about that too, the mental stability.
Yeah.
And being affected.
During that, trying to find the 24th chromosome or whatever, going back into reminding you of other movies. If you remember in Men in Black, where they were in the morgue, and they were Rosenberg, where he had the alien in his face, the lady was going through his body looking for organs, and then Jay was standing over her shoulder, like looking into the body, and it was the same exact thing when that guard was standing over her shoulder and she was inside the stomach. It just kind of brought me right back to Men in Black in that scene.
Man, I love Men in Black. Like, I know we're doing video game movies, but at some point we need to talk about that movie. I know that sequence too in the morgue. She's like, I got something down here for you. He's like, oh, hey. She's so stupid. Like, stop.
Can you feel that? Yeah, there's nothing.
That is that's a great film. I know we're not talking about Men in Black, but we should in the future for sure. Why is OBS doing a thing? Oh no. What is happening?
I'm here.
Are we still here? It's trying to connect. Oh no. Are you guys still
Are you back now?
Are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, but like Gravity said,
I think we're back.
There's a lot of nods to old movies.
There is a lot. I think we're back. Sorry about that.
There we go.
For whatever.
Sounds like we're back.
Yeah, for whatever reason, OBS decided to disconnect. I don't know what was going on there. And that was super annoying. We are getting some rain here in a minute, but I don't understand how that could affect things. But hopefully
You can send some of that up if you want. We need some rain.
Yeah, I will. Trevor says it is storming here. That could be the situation that we're happening, so I apologize. You lost us. Yeah, I'm glad you found us again. So if we lose connection is due to weather, we'll do our best here to record this and have this as one single episode, not in pieces. Lana says women are not hard to figure out. Buy us food when we're hungry. Tell us we look good, and don't get us wet after midnight.
I thought that was Gremlins. Magpies.
She says there's a massive storm. No, I don't hear it. That's really happening. Apparently
Isn't there a window right next to you?
There is, but so stick with us. We need a mod. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Trevor. They're trying to make us famous again. Let's continue our review. I know we got off topic here with Men in Black, but you got me excited comparing that because honestly, like, I freaking love that movie so much.
Oh, yes.
So much. But let's talk about the movie we're supposed to talk about. See what you do when there's a good movie in front of me? You get me excited.
But at this point, this is where I was talking. It was like an hour in, and there was like no action. I mean, you had a little bit here and there, but there was really nothing. It was all storyline.
Wait, there's more.
Oh. Wait, there's more.
Yes, we're now in, but wait, there's more.
So Sam and Reaper try to convince Sarge that the creatures are humans from the facility, mutated by the C-24 serum, and that not all those infected will fully transform into the creatures. Sam hypothesizes that some of these injected with C-24 will develop superhuman abilities but retain their humanity, while others with a predisposition for violent or psychotic behavior will become creatures, which we mentioned. A pattern she believes also happened with the Martians, who built the Ark to escape. Continuing on. Some creatures use the Ark to reach Earth, where they slaughter and mutate the research staff. The Marines, Sam and Pinky, follow, and Sarge orders the squad to sanitize the entire facility, and then basically self-destruct, right? When Kid informs Sarge that he found but refuses,
and they double tapped everyone. They went straight zombie land. They were like, "We got to double tap everyone."
It's true. They did double tap, and this is the scene we were talking about earlier. When Kid informs Sarge that he found but refuses to kill a group of survivors, Sarge executed the Kid for insubordination, leading to a standoff with an armed Pinky. That scene, like, I was honestly surprised by that scene.
I think that was where you shift, like with The Rock's character, like he
which it came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
yeah, you really like hated him then.
I think that was supposed to be the shift where you knew like he wasn't the straight good guy for the movie anymore. Like,
no, but what was his motivation?
Because his orders were to sanitize by any means necessary. I think that was supposed to be. He's just straight by the book.
I guess, but I mean, you're just going to kill the kid on his first mission, and they talked about that multiple times, too, on him being green. Like, they really had to drive that point home, that he was a kid, this is his first mission, he's green, like, he's innocent.
There was another good Portman line about that one that makes you dislike him even more earlier in the movie.
Do you want to recite that one and get hated?
Well, he says that he had asked Sarge for a little female genitalia, the vulgar term he used, and a week later they got the kid.
Yeah.
So again, they gave him some super cliche, not cool things to say to just make you hate him right off the bat. It was good.
And they did. I mean, did it need to be in there as far as dialogue? Again, 2005, different time, I
The
guess.
director obviously thought it needed to be in there.
I guess.
And the editor and everybody else.
Did anybody notice? I know someone said every time. How many times did The Rock say, "Shut the F up"? But how many times did they run back and forth from the lab to the Ark? Like, I swear it was like 10 times that they went back and forth from the lab to the Ark. And there was one time where they went to the Ark, and then they were like, "Oh, what we need was is in the lab." And I'm like, "You just left the lab. Why are we going back to the lab when we're at the Ark?"
Lana mentioned that too. Where we're watching, like how the facility was laid out, and like weren't they just right next to each other? And then they weren't. Like there was a lot of weird sequences where you really don't get a scope of how big or small or how close in proximity everything is in this facility, and then where they were traveling to and from. Like they made it unnecessarily bigger at times, but then you just had to go from a room to a thing. Other times, like it was jarring. So,
Like the sewers were a giant maze, but upstairs it was like super quick to get everywhere.
Besides one sequence that we're getting to, which before I rewatched this film was the only sequence I remembered. So, and I'm sure we'll all know it once they talk about it. The group then is suddenly attacked by creatures who kill Duke and drag Sarge and Pinky away. Reaper is wounded by a ricocheting bullet. To prevent him from bleeding to death, Sam injects her brother with a C-24 serum, despite his concern that his violent past predisposes him to transform into a creature. So, this is where we get the sequence. He regains consciousness, and then we go to a mirror, or a mirror, depending on how you pronounce that. This sequence took them 14 days to put together. So I was reading some stuff on this. 14 days. Oh no, we're losing connection again. So hold on. It's cutting in and out, so so if you can still hear me, we're going to be cutting in and out here momentarily. So bear with me. So I was going to try to reconnect here. I apologize for the delay. So it should be
14
back.
days. Oh,
We're
yes.
back. Are we back now?
So we should be back.
We are back.
We are back.
And again,
We were just talking how it went away right at the pinnacle where we finally got here, and then it dropped.
Yeah, it did, and back. So I apologize. Thanks for those sticking with us. Apparently there's a storm randomly rolling through. I didn't even know it was supposed to rain, but apparently here we are. The storm is affecting our podcast tonight, which is fantastic. We'll do our best to stick with it. And for those wanting to listen to this without interruption, check out our podcast on podcast platforms, Google, Apple, Spotify, and so many more. Search for Dose of Nerd Acumen. And you can listen to these or catch this archived on youtube.com/Dose of Nerd Acumen. We even have an rDNA YouTube channel right now just for these shows. Make sure you subscribe to us there so we can get a custom URL. Continuing on, though, the sequence, 14 days it took for them to put this together. What am I speaking on? First-person perspective. He glances into the mirror, and we get like a moment where it shifts. The gun comes into perspective, and then we go through the hallway sequence. No dialogue needed here, just shooting monsters through hallways, dodging things, grenades, blowing up, blood, guts, action. You're in the game, man. The movie is the game is the movie. This is happening. Hype.
Oh, you get dialogue. You get that first little
Oh, yeah.
You just start going.
I wish we had, like, on his heads-up display or something, like the angry face as he was getting damaged.
Oh, yeah.
Like from the game. I don't know.
I loved it. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. Because I
say
believe that was the
'cause-
first time they ever did that, I believe.
It's the first one I remember
Yeah.
where they did it. Going back, it's a little dated now, the techniques they use, because they did it like going to Hardcore Henry, how they did that whole movie, and
Yes.
it's wonderful the whole time. So you go to this one, you can kind of tell it's but still.
And even
It's
Guns Akimbo was kind of like that with Harry Potter. I don't know if you've seen that,
Yeah.
where he had the guns implanted on his hands and stuff. It was kind of the same.
I mean, in
They
all
kind of used them,
honesty,
but
it's a cool technique. I really enjoyed it, and I know the difficulties of achieving shots like this. I actually had a short that I did in college called The Zombie Hunter, and there was a sequence that I was running through a trail to achieve this, and I had the toy shotgun mounted to the camera, mounted to like a shoulder like system, and I on the blooper reel you could see one of my outtakes. I took a tumble, and I say, "Oh shit" or something. For those interested, shoot me a message. I'll send you a link to that. But it was troublesome. And then the best part about that shoot that I had done, I'm exiting the woods with a few other people from my college class for the project, and then we're surrounded by police. Somebody had called the cops on us because we had a toy gun running around in the woods, and they had one of them was a K9 unit, and leaving the wood line, I'm like, this is a camera. This is not a real gun. It's not a thing. It was a college production. My hands up the whole time. They had their guns drawn on us. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die over getting a grade for college. So they're like, do you live here? I'm like, this is my apartment. Like, we live right there. They're like, go inside, you're done. I'm like, yeah, we got our shots that we needed. We're done here. We got an A on the assignment. But that was a crazy, crazy moment. Now, Cody said they're interested. I'll send you the Zombie Hunter thing. It was really bad. But the sequence that we did was cool with the gun. So that's the only reason I'm connecting it to this sequence. So yes, first person perspective, whether or not it was the first ever done, I don't know. If it was, they did a great job. Like I said, it's the only sequence I remember from this movie before rewatching it last night.
I think from watching some of the special features back, it was the first time where it was done that long of a scene straight.
Okay.
In first person. Like they've done like 15 or 20 seconds of it in other movies, but this was the first time where someone had tried to we're going to do this whole sequence in first person.
And it was a few minutes long too. And they made it look like it was one take. Obviously it was not, but they made it look pretty seamless.
I'm glad they didn't do it for the whole movie.
Oh, God,
and try to do it for the whole movie. That would have been very jarring.
It would have been awful. I would not have wanted to watch that. So Reaper regained consciousness, finds his wounds have healed, and that Sam has gone missing. Using his new C-24 superhuman abilities, he fights his way through the facility, even battling a mutated and monstrous Pinky, which the one in the wheelchair had mutated into an interesting thing.
That was one of the few CG ones in the movie, so that one you kind of tell.
You had to. That would be tough to do practically.
Oh, yeah.
They found an unconscious Sam with Sarge, who has become infected and has murdered the group of survivors Kid had previously found. Reaper and Sarge battle. So we talk about fight sequences. They were definitely connected to like tether systems with the way they're like flipping and throwing each other through walls. It was fun, like fight sequence. It was over the top, but they were really selling their superhuman strength and stuff. They had to do it this way. So I get it. But you could just tell they were like on those like tethering systems, the way they like flip just perfectly in place and float.
One part that always makes me laugh, it's supposed to be The Rock, so Sarge has a metal pole that he's supposedly wrapping around his arm. Yeah. That they put like the metal bending sounds to, and you look at it, it's just literally like something with a wire inside it that he's wrapping around his arm. It's not believable that it's a piece of metal whatsoever.
Oh no, that thing was so flimsy. Like that looked bad. That looked real bad. So they battle, both of them enhanced with superhuman powers. Reaper is able to gain the upper hand and throw Sarge through the arc back to Mars with a grenade, which was cool. I thought that was really cool, tossing it back in there. Destroyed Sarge in the Mars facility. Reaper then carries his unconscious sister into the elevator and rides back up to the ground level in Nevada. Hence,
that wheelchair monster, I'm not going to lie, was probably one of the best things I liked about the movie. Is how they portrayed that. With the wheelchair and the big head on the front where it's trying to eat the guy. That was really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that was a proper mutation if you're going to give somebody a mutation, relate to who they are.
I was kind of disappointed that they had that fight at the end. I was like, when I watched it, I was like, there's no point for this fight at the end. All I wanted, I mean, if you would have ended with the video game first person sequence and maybe like just a sequence of them exploding the facility and making it back to Earth. I would have thought that would have been cool. I just didn't think there was need for a Carl Urban rock fight at the end of the movie.
No, there's really
You had to
not.
get your action in the movie, didn't you?
Yeah, but then there's no more monsters. There's no more anything trying to attack them or anything. It's just them two fighting. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's a face-off. I mean, I really didn't care about. Like, it's just it's weird and unfortunate that the leader of the platoon, if you will, the mission leader, ended up being the generic bad guy in all this. You know, the boss, if you will. I mean, he was the boss, and then he was literally the boss. It just, and that's where this movie really fumbles for me, is its plot. Like, it wasn't great. It was generic, incredibly generic.
Yes.
And like, it really could have been swapped in for any film. They just labeled Doom for this. This is a generic science fiction action / horror film. We've seen these tropes. We've seen these tricks. The standout for me was the first person sequence. If you removed that, I don't even think I would speak highly of this film at all.
And here you go. Shocking. Rob likes this movie.
Not shocking.
But I 100% like it is a generic sci-fi movie. And I say it all the time, like generic sci-fi movie with, at the time, like the coolest 15 minutes. Or however long that scene is. Like, the rest of it, you could watch any sci-fi movie, and then you watch that 15 minutes, you're good. Like, you don't have to.
So let me get this on record, just in case we drop again with our connection. I don't hate this movie, but it's not a good movie. That is a thing.
No.
That can be a thing. You can like bad movies. It's okay to like bad things.
Just watch anything that I review. You can like bad stuff. It's fine.
Batman asked, did you like Mario Bros? Yes, he did.
As soon as you heard Rock say I wasn't supposed to die, that kind of just like, you know, you're like, you're going to hear a lot more of these little lines coming throughout the end of the movie, because there was a lot more that came out that you were like, really? And then he started doing parkour towards the end. Like, he's like jumping through things and like jumping up on top of things. And I'm like, The Rock was doing parkour in this movie. What is going on?
Speaking of The Rock, it's interesting his film career in general. He really hadn't, and I don't even want to say he's hit a stride, because I have a lot to say about The Rock as an actor, but he hadn't hit who he is known as today quite yet with these. So around this time, he had done like The Scorpion King. I think he had done like Walking Tall and God, what was the other one he had done around then? There's several like smaller roles, but he had a few.
The Rundown?
The Rundown. There was a couple others he had done around this time.
He was still skinny muscle Rock. Like, he still had like skinny kind of like, not like skinny, but he was just like not as big as he is these days. He was
Right.
just
Yeah.
kind
No,
of-
I mean, he's a dude that like reversed how you should be built in life. Like, like he started just
The older
like,
he gets, the bigger he gets.
yeah, he started as like thick boy, like a football player, right? And then he just went like super beefcake, you know, in his older
Oh man,
years.
Black Adam, just being the body, the shapes that you see, and just the pictures that you've seen of him on set is like, he's definitely pushing the level of superheroes, because you see Chris Hemsworth now trying to push his body,
Yeah.
and everybody said that he was doing that for Thor, and I'm thinking in my head, no, he's doing it to play Hulk Hogan. I'm like, he's
Yeah.
beefing himself up to do that,
Brother.
brother.
So, I have a love-hate relationship with The Rock, okay? And for those that don't know, I am a huge wrestling fan, and The Rock was one of my favorites in the late 90s, early 2000s, during the prime of his wrestling career. He clearly had left to do things like this, be in Hollywood. But the reason that's important was because he is a man of charisma. The most electrifying superstar, right? He oozes charisma. These films don't showcase that. And even in a lot of his film roles today, he's just kind of goofy, corny, Dwayne Johnson. He's not acting per se in a lot of his stuff. He is just an exaggerated form of what he's able to be. And this is why I have a love-hate relationship with The Rock or Dwayne Johnson, the actor. Because I feel while he is good, entertaining, and engaging, he kind of is the same in almost
Isn't
everything.
there a lot of
does.
actors that are like that, though?
There are, and I shouldn't be just shaming The Rock for that because he is one of the highest paid actors out there. But at the same time, even with this upcoming Jungle Cruise film, I'm like, he looks like he's wearing the same thing from Jumanji. Like, did you just go from set to set and you're playing the same thing? Like, I can't tell the difference.
Well, I think you just said it right there. Is he's getting so big and that everybody wants him in their films. He's not, I mean, he has the charisma for wrestling, but he's not like, he's not an actor that can change.
Right, he doesn't have a diverse catalog.
You have Benedict Cumberbatch that plays Doctor Strange and sounds like an American, and when he talks outside, he is straight up British. I don't think, or European, and I'm like, I don't think when you have The Rock, you can see The Rock doing a British accent or an Australian accent or something like that. Yeah, it would be interesting to see how deep his actual acting skills go, because he doesn't change his voice. He doesn't.
But is he cast to do that, or is he just cast to be himself in everybody's movie?
So that's the thing.
The money draw.
Is he appealing to the majority demographic that want to see him for doing what he's doing? Yes. So he's not going to step out of that comfort zone. They're not going to cast him in something that's considered a risk. They're going to play it safe with him. You're going to get what you're going to get, and you expect what you expect, and people are okay with that kind of stuff. It's the reason franchises like the Fast series is doing so incredibly well 9 films and a spin-off later. That blows my mind, because for a moment there, they took a drift. You see what I'm doing here? They took a drift where they're really, really bad. And I'm like, that's the end of that franchise. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, we got Bruce Willis. No, we got The Rock. No, we got like...
Oh, we got a guest star.
Oh, hey, Frankie. So, like, that's a franchise that does not appeal to me. I'm sorry if people like it. I know, Rob, you like everything.
I do like it, but I'll tell you, I know it's ridiculous. I don't think that you're watching things that people could do in cars.
No.
Like, I know, but I just find it entertaining.
So
that's my fault, is I can find entertainment in a lot of things, I guess.
And relating to The Rock, he is in some of those films as well. Yeah. We also have Wonder Woman in the early ones. Gal Gadot. It's kind of weird. What a comeuppance her career has been. Jason Statham. Oh God, you want to talk about typecast actor?
Did you see Groot planted in the front yard of the house of Dom's house? I'm just kidding.
Wait, what? Trevor says, I only watched one Fast and the Furious, the Tokyo Drift one. Oh, God, why would you watch that one? All of them?
Out of all of them, why that one?
Yeah, that's not... Don't do that one.
But you can say the same thing with the typecast, because I love Will Ferrell, but he plays the same character in every movie.
It exists for so many actors, and I get that. I'm not singling out The Rock here, but we're talking about him because he was the featured talent in this film review of Doom. So Trevor says, friends were watching, I did not pick it. Well, I'm sorry, Trevor, for that you had to endure that.
I would just say for Trevor, pick a different one and just watch a different any of the other ones, so that you can have a real opinion on the movies, because Tokyo Drift, not the one to base it on.
Just watch the first one. It was the only good one. I mean,
to be fair, I haven't seen like 7, 8, or 9, so I don't know. And
I'm not allowed to say anything.
So
I have them all, so there you go.
Of course. Trevor says he didn't hate it, and Batman says Statham has done loads of roles. I know he has, but again, he's just generically, he's not for me. But I also don't really like generic action films, so you're talking to the wrong person. If you want to talk about the films I enjoy, crappy video game movies, clearly. But science fiction.
Anything horror.
Anything, yes, you nailed it. Anything horror. Nail in the coffin,
Horror.
literally. That's my go-to. I have...
How many times did you rave the $5 horror bin just to have something to watch?
Dude, every weekend we hung out. I was raiding the bargain bins of horror movies. And
Hey,
I know
there
they're
was
not
that
great.
Blockbuster that was right around the corner, so right there on 36th
It
and
was.
Burlingame, so we were right there.
And we were always buying the used copies of things, and especially when they're doing like 5 for $20. Do you remember when Blockbuster used to do that?
Yep.
So we would walk out with 5 really crappy horror movies, and in hopes that we would see blood, guts, and boobs.
Pretty much, yeah.
So
And that was the criteria for if Trav wanted it was, is it a horror movie? Okay, I want it. That was
pretty much that genre it can do very wrong. I don't want to say it can do no wrong because there are a lot of bad horror films, and I am particular though with horror.
The other game that I played along the lines with Doom was Duke Nukem, and they've never made a movie for that. What's up with that?
they didn't they?
Did they?
Wasn't Mark Wahlberg in one?
A Duke Nukem movie?
He
No,
was,
that's a different one.
he
What was that one that he's in?
He was the Duke Nukem. The horror movie podcast. You guys want a horror movie podcast?
Oh. Whoa.
Really?
Whoa.
I could do that. We are.
Yeah, I could do that one with you too, but it'd be this like I'd like everything anyway, so I don't know if you want me on anymore. So
if people ask nicely, maybe I'll do more horror stuff. I am the resident horror guy. Speaking of resident stuff, that is something this special episode we need to do as we get closer to October, or in October, reviewing the Resident Evil live action film franchise, especially with a new one on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Horizon, that'd be a fun one to review. Event Horizon.
that is a severely underrated horror movie. That is such a good movie.
It is. It really is. And especially when I played Dead Space, I got so many notes of that film in that game. So, but yeah, there are a lot of ideas, a lot of things on the horizon. One thing I did want to point out to you guys, for those listening right now, we do have a new raffle we're launching, new prize. So it's something that I've been trying to figure out what to do for a while. And for all those that have subbed to the channel, subscribed, it's $5 or free if you have Amazon Prime, use Twitch Prime. And we get some of that, and Twitch gets some of that. So we do get to make a little bit of money off of it. But since we are making money on something, these are not our jobs. We want to give back to you guys that give to us. Whether it's with $5 or whether it's free for you, we're going to put it into a prize. And what that prize is...
You're getting paid?
Not really, because we have to buy things for the community. But yeah, I still have a day job. I still work 40+ hours every week. So...
that was harkening back to one of the other movies we reviewed. That's a Zangief quote there for you.
That's right. Check out that podcast if you haven't listened to that. We have a goal. This is an ongoing goal. This is not within 30 days. This is ongoing. When we hit 150 subs over time, so if you guys sub to us now, that's 1. If you sub again next month, that's 2. If you gift them, that's entries for you as well. Basically, every sub or every gift is an entry to the raffle. And the prize... a custom Xbox controller from Design Labs from Microsoft. So it's a controller where you can customize literally any color scheme that you want in it. The shell, the triggers, the buttons, the toggles, the start button, literally everything in their combination of colors. You can make it look crazy. You can make it look really cool. Anything you want to do. But it's Design Labs by Microsoft, custom Xbox controller. So real cool stuff. It's something that I wanted to pick up myself for some time. I haven't pulled the trigger on it, but I might just to kind of show you guys. And if you want to check it out, again, Google Design Labs by it.
You just made the list!
And there you go. Trademark.
I'll start that.
Got a sub. Wicked giving out 2 here.
I'll start that sub train right there.
Thank you so much. And old Roshi got a sub. So, hey,
You
there's
just
trouble.
made the list.
You just made the list. So there you go. We got two, as you can see at the top of the screen there, right above IROB's head. We have a sub goal now. So, Wicked, you just got 2 entries towards that for gifting. So if you gift, you can enter how many you gift. If you sub yourself, you can entry. So as you can see, these can stack up real quick, or you can just wait it out if you just do it once a month over time. Eventually, let's say if Wicked's the only one over the next 150 months, the prize is Wicked's. So
The prize is Wicked?
It is. Well, yes, Wicked would be getting Wicked with Wicked.
Wicked will fly to Wicked and hang out with Wicked.
Yes. It would be a Wicked time.
Wait, can we have that as a thing? Like, we get to go visit Wicked in Hawaii? Like,
Yes. That needs to happen. Let's go to Hawaii. A special episode in Hawaii. Make it happen. But yes, so that's our new thing. Tomorrow night we have the Nerds of Wrestling. Cody and Trevor, they're going to be discussing Money in the Bank as well as everything in the world of wrestling. A lot happened this past week in the world of AEW. Impact had Slammiversary. A lot of debuts there. A lot of things happened at Money in the Bank this past Sunday. They're going to be talking about that. Monday Night Raw, they're going to be talking about things that happened. The most important thing that happened, though, Friday Night SmackDown last week, Money in the Bank, and Raw. Fans are back. And I'm going to spoil it right now because I won't be able to say it in person on their podcast. But my favorite thing from the past week in wrestling is Vince McMahon coming out first on SmackDown and saying, "Where the hell have you been?" Turning around and walking out. While everyone was cheering and singing "No Chance in Hell." That was a moment. Honestly, like, it's been a long, long pandemic. And to be able to see this stuff again, we still have a ways to go, obviously, for those paying attention to the world, but this is a sign of hope and a sign of things that we needed. And honestly, watching SmackDown with a crowd again, and I know we had Mania with a crowd, but just knowing that this is all happening again for people with the opportunity.
and I'll admit I don't watch a lot, but just from me watching the highlights and things, it's just there's so much that is missing without having people there.
Oh, those pops on Sunday were ridiculous. It was so amazing to see.
So if you guys like wrestling, you're going to want to tune into their podcast tomorrow night, Cody and Trevor, right here on the DNA channel. And if you're listening to this back on demand, generally they're on Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/doseofnerdacumen.
And come hang out with me tonight. Play some Diablo 2.
Yeah. Wicked's now streaming on the channel as well, so catch his streams. Cody also streams games. NAW on Thursday nights. Catch that live with me. And we've been playing Halo with the community as of late as well. Join us if you have Game Pass. Both the Master Chief Collection and Halo 5 are free. We're counting down to Halo Infinite this fall. We're very excited for that game and probably going to be playing a lot of that when that launches. We also have our other prizes that we talked about where you can control our content like iRob did tonight. He controlled this episode by selecting Doom for us. But we'll have another winner at the end of July here. And in August, somebody will be able to pick the video game film that we review that we haven't done yet. At some point, we will review them all. And at that point, we'll transition to something I don't know. I fear for that day because then we'll have to come up with a new idea. But that is our goal, to review every video game film. And the good thing is there are going to be others that come out too. And maybe we'll start to review them as they come out. The one I'm looking forward to is Sonic 2 next year. You guys have not seen Sonic yet, though.
You still have not seen Sonic.
Nope.
Here's my plea. If you win the prize for July, pick Sonic for us to review. Please. Please. I said please. I don't say please a lot. My wife can attest to that.
He really doesn't.
It's true. It's true. Besides that, I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing?
A fully functional brain?
And that's generally missing. Cody, if you're still with us, did I miss anything? Trevor, did I miss anything? I know Trevor's usually on it, doing all the plugs.
Oh, mRNA podcast.
Thank you. I knew I was missing something. Closing out July next week, Tuesday, not literally closing out the month, but our last podcast for July will be the mRNA podcast, the music review Nerd Acumen podcast. If you guys haven't listened or watched yet, check out Bo Burnham Inside. That is what was picked by Ty. Huge shout out to Ty for that choice. And we're going to be discussing that comedy special / film thing experience. It's available on Netflix, from my understanding, as well as Spotify. Recommendations were to watch it on Netflix, and then you can listen to it afterwards as well. But we're going to be talking about that, myself and Staple Gun, 1 week from tonight, next week, Tuesday. Be here for that. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Yes. See, I knew I was missing another thing, too. Trevor, see, you're always on it, man. Did you talk about the wrestling trivia? I have not. If a perfect world occurs this Saturday night, wrestling trivia. This is the community night that MX had selected for us to host. MX versus Cody versus you all, the community. Wrestling trivia. The prize, strands. Every question you get right, we're giving you strands. This goes to Cody and MX.
Are you going to answer for that one, Trav? Because
Am I going to answer?
You might.
I am the host.
I think you might know things.
I might know a few things. I am the host of it. It would be unfair for me to answer the questions that I know the answers to. Not that I know everything about wrestling, because I'm not claiming that. I don't want to be that guy. I have watched a long time. I don't know everything. But somebody's got to host the show. And I really want to see Cody versus MX versus the community happen. Because I know there are members in the community that think they know a lot. MX and Cody both think they know a lot. But this will be the true test. Who really knows wrestling? Saturday, in a perfect world, it's all going down here on the DNA Twitch. I've rambled on for too long. I'm surprised we haven't lost connection yet. Hopefully that storm passed through. Anybody in chat tonight listening have anything happening cool this week? Shout yourselves out. If so, Wicked, iRob, what's happening cool in your lives?
Wow. Streaming these games at night, playing with all these beautiful people. Keep coming in.
Boom.
I love it.
Boom. Check out Wicked right here on the Twitch channel. Finally, he's with us. iRob, what you got?
Just live a normal life. Be there Thursday, talking trash with everybody, like normal.
It's true. NAW continuing to be a lot of fun. Thank those that support that show on the DNA channel here. We're over 350 episodes. That's so humbling and incredible. We have new house shows that we've launched. The House of Wolves. Too sweet, boys.
Woo.
There you go. I was waiting.
I don't know if anybody's seen this week, but we have an extra Wolfpack member. That's all I'm going to say.
Ooh, too sweet. So check it out. House of Wolves, episode 350, available on the YouTubes. We had a house show today and tomorrow at noon as well.
If you haven't watched the special from today, some crazy things happened. You should check it out.
Tomorrow as well, and then we're back live Thursday, NPC on Friday. So you're going to catch a lot of extra content with NAW if you're into the wrestling stuff. But other than that, you guys plan on winning matches sometime? Damn.
Why? What's the point? We show up every week and people watch us anyway. We don't need to win.
It's true. We're in demand, win or lose.
Just show up in the red and black, baby.
For life. For life. It don't matter. Wins and losses, it don't matter. We'll always be on your tongue.
I don't know if I want to be on people's tongue.
Yeah.
I don't know if people want me on their tongue. Honestly, like that's the other side of that one.
Now that I've made everyone feel awkward, go check out Doom if you haven't yet. It is available on Netflix, at least in the UK. I don't know if it is in the States. Check it out. There are multiple ways to find it. You can purchase a physical copy for under $10. You can rent it for a few bucks. You could find other ways of watching it as well, but we don't endorse that. But you can. It's a thing. Let us know if we're right or wrong. Leave a comment. Tell your friends. Tell your relatives that we exist. And thank you, iRob.
Really exist?
Yeah. But yes, thank you, iRob, for continuing to co-host this with us. And Herman for the 2 gifted subs. Thank you. And also thank you for the work that you put into your attires, for everything you do. Your attention to detail and commitment for things is definitely appreciated by myself. Hopefully the community appreciates as much as I do. I feel they do, but I can't speak for them, but I am speaking for them. They do. Damn it. Appreciate him. Acknowledge him. Acknowledge Ricky. But for real, it's always a pleasure to do these things. I love movies. I love talking about movies. Whether or not they're good or not, it doesn't matter.
I don't know if you had to add the about movies thing.
I just love talking, yes.
Yes.
I've worked in customer service the majority of my life, and there's a reason for it, damn it. I was given this gift of this voice for a reason, damn it, and I'm sharing it with the world. You're welcome. Turn up your bass when I speak to you. No? Okay.
You need to turn up the bass and sit on the speaker? What?
Whoa, this is not Howard
This is
Stern.
not the Howard Stern podcast. We're not.
Was that Private Parts?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, that movie is bad.
How do we all remember that movie? Like,
Because we were teenagers.
Giving it to us at a young age.
Jeez. Why would we not remember that? This is why we are the way we are. We're not apologetic. Acknowledge Cena's as Batman. Will we? Stay tuned for that. But again, thank you guys. This has been another episode of the rDNA podcast. The R, R-E-E-L, because we keep it real. And you guys are going to be saying that. You will say it. Acknowledge. Anyways, thank you all. Until next time, stay beautiful and good night.